Yeah, Ifuna, thank you for that. Georgina, thank you. So good to have you all back after the Nigeria Software Testing Week. Thank you to everyone that volunteered, that showed up, that attended the online event and also the physical event. It was an eventful one. Thank you so much. And I believe you are still soaking in all the things that were learned during the course of the program. I know there are some people on this call that traveled all the way from some other state just to be at the program. Thank you so much for making it a point of duty to be there. So, yeah, let us get right into it. So, this is Testers Quarter. We are the most active software testing community in Africa, and our focus is empowering aspiring and practicing product quality engineers with the resources and the support, the mentorship that is required for them to succeed in their career. Uh, we do that with various programs that we have put together to ensure that you all get the best from this community. Every Monday, we start by posting a Monday motivation post just to encourage everybody to ensure that we are at our maximum uh, energy. We have at the maximum energy we can. And on Wednesday, we have like a work check-in call, which we call the Testers Quarter Office Hour. And then on Friday night, we have we usually have webinars, except for the last Friday, where we have town hall meeting. Uh, on the first Saturday of every month is our global fireside chat, where we bring an expert in the field to have like a conversation where people get to ask questions in a relaxed environment. And we also have local quarterly hangouts, like the one we had just concluded last week. It's like a hangout kind of, but it is more of a national program this time around. But we have had testers in Ghana, testers in Abuja, and other local communities coming together physically in their own environment. We have scholarship boot camp, we have mentorship program, we have annual conferences, we have testathon, and several other programs that we have put together to ensure that we get the best from this community. So every week, there's always something going on in Texas Quarter. And I would like to know if you have anybody this is your first call in Texas Quarter. Some people reach out to me on LinkedIn. They want to join Texas Quarter or they're looking for job opportunities. I usually refer them to Texas Quarter, and some people have joined. If this is your first time, would like to know you, you can indicate by a raise of hand so that we can give you a shout out. If there's anyone here, um, is there anyone here that joined us for the first time today? All right. In the absence of now, maybe they will join us later. I would like to bring up our facilitator on board this session. Okay, I would like to bring up our facilitation on board, and I'm going to be introducing him shortly. Uma, are you ready? So our facilitator is Uma Uka. He's a software QA engineer, and he has over 5 years of experience spanning through finance, insurance, and identity management. He specializes in translating complex business requirements into practical test strategies that ensure product reliability, scalability, and security. He has contributed to many projects ranging from AI-powered verification systems to property investment platform and inclusive insurance products, with hands-on expertise in functional testing, automation, API testing, CI/CD, and performance testing. Beyond his testing career, he is passionate about continuous learning and improvement, which drives his current exploration of cybersecurity. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome Mumahuka as he takes us on this hands-on workshop on understanding CI/CD pipeline and GitHub commands. You're welcome, Uma.
Hi, good evening. Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here. I am, I don't know, I'm kind of like short of words. And I just want to say very big thank you for the opportunity to have this platform to speak and teach from the little knowledge I've gained over the years. I will be turning off my camera shortly after this. It rained in my area this evening, so I'm not so confident about the network situation here, right? So I'll be sharing my screen pretty soon. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Just 1 minute. Okay. Just let me know when you can see my screen, please.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
The screen is up.
Thank you very much. Okay, great. So, today, what we'll be discussing will be introductory Git commands and collaboration using GitHub. And for this session, right, I'll try to be as simple and bring everything down to easy to assimilate kind of forms so that I'm not sounding too technical while I'm doing this, right? So I think I'll practically just start by defining this things, version control and GitHub, right? So basically, if we are talking about version control, right, we are practically looking at the ability to pick up from probably where we left off when it comes to the work we're doing, being able to, I think the easiest way to just put it is time travel. And the thing there being that we can always like refer to older versions of the work that we've done. If we've made a mistake, we can undo the mistake. And even for the fact that probably we're working with other people, right, we can always come up with the version that we want to actually go live with at each point in time. So the thing here right now is there's a Git part, which on its own, that's it's practically like an open source. It's open source, it's free, it's an app that we can install on our laptops, right? And this helps us to practically manage source control, right? But the thing there is with Git, everything that you're going to be doing, it's practically just on your laptop alone, on your local, basically. You cannot use that for proper collaboration. But that's not where we get to have GitHub. And the thing is, we have other platforms apart from GitHub. There's Facebook. Right. So this in itself is I'll call it it's more like a cloud-based hosting platform, right? Which makes it easy and makes it possible for us to collaborate with others on our Git repositions. Right. While we go through this, right, the tools that I'm going to be using for this particular engagement is we're going to be using Git Bash. We're going to Git Bash is it's a terminal. It comes with Git when you install it. We can still use normal command line PowerShell. But for the purpose of this, I'm using Git Bash. I will actually be working on I'm working with a Windows laptop, so not a Mac. There might be just tiny differences, but not the differences won't be that much, basically. Then I would also be using VS Code as an editor, just so that we can relate it more to what it would look like in our day-to-day activities, right? And then I think the last thing would now be the GitHub part of things, right? So the very first part would be to install Git, right? And this is going to be more of a what I call it probably something that's going to be look more practical than theory. So let's say so ordinarily we have there's the Windows version, there's the Mac version, depending on which system you are on. That will determine what you're going to install. For me, it's going to be a Windows version, right? But because I already have this installed, I don't need to go through this entire process again, right? So while I'm doing that, the next thing is I need to share another screen altogether. Sorry, 1 minute. Let me share an entire screen. Screen one. Okay, please let me know at any point you get to see. When you get to my screen, just let me know.
The screen is up.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's say, for instance, that we have dragging these across. Okay, so let's say, for instance, that we already have a Git installed, right? And for me to confirm that this has been installed, um, we could check this out. Uh, so so that means I have Git installed on my system, and that's the version that I have. I could continue with this, but I would want to use this instead. This is the terminal that comes with Git when it's installed. Please let me know if you can see my screen clearly before I proceed. It's looking tiny from this end. I just want to be sure of that. And okay, nice one. So so from the beginning, the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to try to set up our username, right? Set up our email. I already have this set up, right? But I can still do it again, right? It would only just overwrite the one that I have already done before now, right? But the reason why we set this up is so that whenever we're making any changes, we can tell who is making the changes, right? So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to also do this. So let's go over this. Very good. So it's just going to be. So the name of the going to put is going to be my name and enter. Right. Then the next is going to be Yes.
Kumar,
Hi. Yes.
please
Yes,
kindly zoom in your screens.
yeah, exactly. It's too tiny.
Very
It's
tiny.
too tiny. I guess that's much. Okay. I guess that's much. Give me a minute.
You know what to do, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. And it is not
Just go to
zooming.
You can do Control Plus also.
Yeah, uh,
Yeah.
that's great.
yeah, excellent.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Candy.
Yep. So I'm going to do just this. And then next. There goes. Sorry. Typing it out. So after setting these two up, right? The next thing I would want to do is to set what my default branch is going to be. I am doing this. I'm setting this name as main. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to be using GitHub, and on GitHub, our default branch is called main, right? So just for uniformity, that's why I'll be doing this in itself. Uh, this. So yeah. So right after this, the next part would be to initiate Git, right? And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'll have to take us to probably a folder which I created just for this class. The folder is right here. This learning about Git, and I put two empty files inside it. Sorry about that. Put two empty files inside it, which we will populate ourselves, right? So let me see. We have Gande on the call. We have who else is on the call? We have three. I need two extra names. Who are those on the call?
If Unaya is on the call, Paul is on
Okay. If Aya is on the call, we have Paul, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. Thank you. So I'm going to save that. And can I have two other names? I'm going to put in this one.
Sunday is here, Deborah is here.
Okay. Sunday is here and Edward is here. Thank you very much. Okay. So I'm saving that, right? Okay. So then the next thing I'm practically going to do is I'm going to make sure that this is I'm going to change directory, right? So that we'll be working from this folder, right? Then I would also, once I finish changing directory, I'm going to initialize Git in this particular folder. the minute I initialize Git in this folder, that is, I've practically made this folder a repository, a Git repository. So first thing is take note of this slash user slash this slash this. Let's copy it. Let's go over to this place and CD, right? But I'll have to switch this to this. So it has to be a forward slash and a forward slash. Sorry. This also has to be a forward slash. This has to be a forward slash. So with this, when I do this, too many arguments. So the issue here is it's because of the spaces here, right? So I would practically have to pass this as a string so that it doesn't count it as different arguments when there's a space, right? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so that, yeah. Okay. So now I have this. Okay, so I have this. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to run git status. Git status. This tells us that this tells us the status of our repo at the moment. As you can see, this right. We have those two files. They are right here, but they are untracked, right? The minute we start, the minute we add a file or we start tracking a file, right? That is when Git starts taking notes of that file in itself. Right? Anything that I do to this file right now, Git doesn't really care about the changes, right? But the minute I begin to track it, right, that's when it starts taking note of the changes that are done on this file. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to do a git add, right? So we could either do a git add, then the file name, test1.txt, right? Test1. I didn't match any files. Okay. Then that's I didn't match any files. Then let's try this. Add dot. So how do you tell it? Yes. So you could either use dot to add all the files at the same time, right? I'm trying to understand why this didn't work out. Check that out. But a git add, I've actually added all of them, and status. So right now it's tracking these two files, right? And, so if we want, we can use this command, right, to remove any file that we do not want to track, right? So at the moment, we're tracking these two files, and let's try something. Let's try something. I would want to change something in one of these files. So I'm going to add my name here, and okay. I have my name here, and let's see status. Okay, so this shows that one of them has been modified, right? And if I do git diff, that's to show the difference. You can find out that. So I added this to what we have. A new line was added at the end of the file, right? I'm still going to drop a list of all the commands I've been using so far, right? The then here is just I want to make sure that we get to see all of them in action, right? So now I've done I've added something. We can track a file. We can see the difference. That's the difference in the changes, right? The previous one and the current one, right? And at the moment, all these things have not been saved yet, right? So that brings me to the next command, which would now be the commit command, right? The commit command. So this looks more like this. So when you have this, you add it, you put it with a message, right? The message has to be descriptive of the change that you've made, so that when you are probably tracking it, or you want to go back to a previous version, you know the exact version that you're going back to and what it contains, right? So let me try this out. So commit, then my message will be first added, right? So I've added this, right? So so right now, if we check this other command called log, right? We use the log to check the commits, how many the commits you've had and what their contents were, right? By the time we move a little further, I know the whole thing is looking like jargon at the moment, but when we move a little further, when we get to a point where we're probably looking at it from the GitHub perspective, it will be clearer to us what we are seeing and what it's supposed to look like. So so basically at the moment we have we've looked at a few commands, one being one of them being initializing for a new repo. The status is the one that we keep calling each time to confirm what the status of the reposition is, right? And let's say this, right? So you can always find what the status is at each point in time. And we've done adding this, and we have done saving, right? So, and we've also done log, which showed us the different, like the commits that we've had, and we also did git diff, which showed us the difference between what was there before and what it became when we did this here, when I added the name, what we had before and what we have now. Right. So I think the part that now gets a little bit more interesting down the line is when we now come to the point of branching, right? And the thing is, right now, I would want to, right, like move on to the GitHub side of things, because or let me just create a branch and let's work with this first, then we'll now move on to the GitHub side of things. Reason being that I really want us to see it from what it will look like in our day-to-day work, right? Because at the moment, most of the things that we do, we might not necessarily be engaging with this Bash. Most of the time, we would actually be working with whether it's IDE, how other things plays out from there. So let me just run one or two of the commands here, then we'll move on to the more interesting part. And I hope I use up time. So first and foremost, we are going to do right. We're going to call this let's call it so I'm going to create a new branch, right? And now I've created a new branch. To see the branches that I have, I'll just do this branch. So this is the first branch. This is the second branch. The one with the asterisks is the branch that I'm currently on at the moment, right? And so if I want to change the branch that I'm working on, I'll do a switch. Switch to the branch, right? So when I do this branch, see that I am now on the new branch. I'm pretty sure some places would use checkout, right? Checkout dash B and the new branch name, right? And all that. But that is it will still work. I'm not saying it's not going to work, it will still work. The thing there is there was a new convention that's I think that in 2019 or so, when for clarity, that was when this was introduced, the switch and branch commands were now put in use instead of the checkout command. Right. So we have this, and now we are on a new branch, and I'm going to do git status, right? So we're going to change this status to come from. So I'm going to do something now. When I'm on this, I'm going to switch to this branch. I'm going to probably delete this one. I've deleted it. It's that, yes. This one is deleted. So something that I wanted to point out here, right, is that with what we have here, we can always revert or go back to our former state, right? So let me say, remember with this, I've already deleted this, right? I can still restore it, meaning that the way it was, or the the last state was saved. So hit, and that should be the last one that I'll do before we get ourselves to store. So when I do my git status, basically announcement file. So I'm back to the way it was. Let me check. My test2 is back. It was deleted before, but now it has been restored. So basically, with the way we have this, we can make a lot of changes. We can always restore. We can do whatever we want to do, but we are limited practically here because of whatever we're doing on just the Git alone is just between us and ourselves and our local. We can't collaborate in this form. We can't practically do anything beyond this. But when it now gets sweeter and more interesting is when we move on to our GitHub, right? So at this point, I wanted to ask, before we proceed, is there anybody that logged in with their laptops to this call? Because I would want them to help me with something further down the line when we get to collaborate. Anybody that logged in with their laptops and they have a GitHub account.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So we're going to do something later. I would require your please log into your GitHub at the moment so that when the time comes, it will just be a straightforward thing. Okay, thank you. Okay, so at this point, okay. So at this point, I'll just move on to the next thing. The next thing that I want us to do right now is first and foremost. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing. I'm on that screen and it's not sharing. So, a minute. Okay. Let me just see my screen. Start sharing. Fresh. Right. So, the very first thing that I would want to do, right, is very first thing I would want to do is I would want to create a remote repository, right? And then I would want to connect our local repository to the remote repository. The way we're practically just going to do it is thank you, quite straightforward. So we come to repositories. If you already have a GitHub account, I'm believing I'm doing this under the assumption that you have a GitHub account and you come to repositories, right? So when you come to repositories, you come to new, and we are going to give this repository a name. Can somebody give me a name? Anybody? Okay, let me see. I'm going to do a combination of two names I'm seeing on my screen. Okay, so it's going to be okay. So with this, let's create a repository, right? So this repository I've created, the beautiful part of it is that so practically almost everything is has been given to us to start, right? The things that we would need. Right? So our own case is we're not creating a fresh one, right? We already have an existing repository. So what we want to do is to bring it over to bring it here so that we can actually work with it. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this. Let me copy this. Let me go back to this. Sorry. Let me go back to this. Let me clear. Let me clear and start that crash. First, I want to do is git switch realize then okay. So I've done that, and the next thing I'm going to do is yeah. So I'm going to run this, and after running this, next thing it's as easy as ABC. So just to copy the things we have here, just run them in your terminal. And that's really so on this, then the last thing that we would have to be, let's now push what we have. Let's push what we have. All right, this. Push. Oh, sign in with your browser. Yes, sign in with Sorry about that. Notifications after that. So all along, everything I would. Okay. So now I have pushed everything that we have here, and if we come back to this, right? Um, I come back to this. Let me refresh this. Now, what I had in my local, I have it here right now, right? And the last commit I made is right here. And let's say I click this, right? So if you remember, this is test 2, test 1, and oh, I think I when I did this thing with that, it's my name. I made the change. I didn't stage before looking at. I didn't stage it. I didn't stage it. I didn't stage it. Sorry about it. Okay. Okay. I think I know where I missed it. So I think I skipped a step. But so the thing is, I will still show you what that staging is, right? Probably I'll show you that staging with VS Code. So basically what we have right now, what all we have right now is this. Let me go back to this. So we have only one branch. We both know that we have more than one branch, right? We have more than one branch. Yeah. So where is our second branch? What we're going to do is actually going to push all this time. So hit push. Okay, great. So I'm reading. If I refresh this, so I have two branches now, and this is the second branch. That one I named new branch. Good. So we have both of them here, and that's what it's supposed to do. Okay. So so um something that I would want to do right now is, so right now we've seen how to get this across, right? We've seen how to move how to push our local repo to a remote repository, right? And everything is there, right? The next thing I want to do right now is I want us to clone this repository, right? I want us to clone this repository. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, right? And at this point, I'm going to introduce VS Code to the mix, right? So we have this right here. It's one of the, although we can still find it from the start, but let's pick this. So we're going to clone from, yeah, we're going to be cloning from here, and this is the repository. Okay, my stuff's already connected. This is the repository here, but we could still just use the link that we copied for that. So I have to select a destination for this. I want to put it here. Yes. Let's open the file of the picture. That's open. So this is it right here. And, let's trust that. So this is it right here. Everything that's we're working with. So let's say I do this. But let's not make changes. That's me. So the best. So when you clone a repo, right, and you want to make your own changes and all that, what I would advise you to do is create a new branch. So you see how the IDE like kind of like makes everything easy, sort of. You don't have to go memorizing all the commands and all that. So you can just create a new branch, right? Let's give the branch a name. Or let's give the branch to well, whatever it is. I would say when you're naming a branch, right, name it according to what you're working on, right? So it could be a feature, it could be a it could be a feature or it could also be carrying the task ID from your Jira board or something like that, especially when there's an integration with your project management tool. So, but for this, I'm just deciding to give it one random name that I'm seeing on my screen. So I have done this, right? Then now that I've created a new branch, I want to make changes. Which changes I'm making now? I'm making them in my new branch. And let's see. I've made these changes. Yes, save it. Let's see. Yeah. So this is at this point, let me now explain that that staging thing I mentioned. So before you commit stuff, right? You have to stage the changes. So I can decide to stage only this change and leave this one behind, right? This is an equivalent of doing that git add, right? This is what I want to stage at the moment, right? And so this one that has been staged, I can decide to commit this and call it the commit message could be test one. Okay, let me see. Added to test one, right? And I commit this. When I commit this, is as good as I've saved it, right? I can always make reference to it. I can also add this, right? If I want to, and something that has been staged can still be unstaged. But let us okay. Let me stop at this point, and then what I'm going to do is to publish this branch. So this, what I just did was push what I have here. And now that I've published this branch, if we go to this. Now I have this right here. This is my branch name, right? And that means that there's a change that is coming in, right? And I can decide to compare and do request. So this right here, right? This is more like when you, on your own end, you have, let's say you have you've done your task, right? Let me say you are given like 2 endpoints to automate, and you've done one, and you push that one, right? And you sent it for let's say code review, right? So I'm just going to put test. Uh, if I had more people in my team, right, I can add reviewers right here, right? But I do not have more people in my team, so what I'll just say is create a pull request. So this thing itself, okay, there's no conflict and all that. But there are cases where we could have a conflict, meaning that probably work has already been done on, let's say, our main branch. Probably we have another person working, and the person has already, his work has already been merged to the main branch, right? And by the time I'm bringing this, and probably we worked on same file, there's a very high tendency that we'll be having this thing, a merge conflicts, especially when we worked on same file, right? And that brings me to something else I would love to mention. Most of the time when you're working with other people on a particular project, when you're done with your own part of things, right, it's always best, right, to probably pull the most recent things that you have, like pull the updates, right, and fetch it and resolve if there's any if there's any conflict, which most of the time there might not be, but if there's any conflict, you resolve it before you now send your stuff for review and merging. So while we have this here, right, we can have I can decide to add a comment. Now I'm both the person that is reviewing my work, and I'm also the one that did the work. So I can decide to add a comment, not just okay, right? And I can put in a comment. If I'm not happy with what I'm seeing, I can put in a comment. I will still be the one that would receive it, right? But in this case, what I'll just do is let me merge the pull request, right? Confirm merge. Okay. So this has been merged and it is closed, right? So now this brings me to the other thing that I would want to mention. I don't know, kind of, was it you or who that indicated that they have their laptop and this thing?
Yeah, it's me.
It's you. Okay, great. Okay, so something that I would want us to do, right? I would want you to act like a QA person and look for my trouble here right now. So if you don't mind, I'm going to drop this right on the call link. Yeah. So I want you to go to that. And if you don't mind, could you share your screen so as others could see what we're about to do?
Okay. All right, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Let me know when you can see my screen.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I can see your screen here. VS Code I'm seeing.
Okay, so what should I do with this link?
I want you to open it on your browser.
Okay.
Okay. So you see that place that we have beside code where we have issues. I want you to raise an issue for me. Not that code, the one that's yeah. I want you to raise an issue for me. So you can create a new issue. Yeah. Okay, you can add a title and description.
Okay.
Okay, help me check in that labels part of things. If there's any, I'm just hoping that there'll be something. If there's none, there's no wow. I doubt if there's anything. So okay, yes, there's nothing there. There's no problem. So create the issue. I will see it on my. Okay. So
Are you able to see now?
yes, I have seen your issue. Okay, let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So if you can see my screen, right? You'll see that I have an issue here right now, and this is was opened by Kende right here, right? So open it. I see what it is, right? So for me, what I'm going to do right now is I'm practically going to let's say I come here. Sorry, not you, not you, not you, not you. Okay. So I am going to attend to that issue. I'm going to practically let me go to my VS Code instead. Let me try something out of my VS Code. So I'm going to let me do a yes. Something else that I would like to mention, right? There's something that we can do. It's called what do you call it? Stash, right? It's called a stash. So let me say, for instance, you are working on something. You have not finished working on that thing, and the PM comes and tells you that there's something else that they want you to do, right? And so the thing is, the thing that you worked on is not good enough for merging yet, and at the same time you don't want to commit it because you don't want to be saving stuff that is half baked, right? So you can practically stash it, create another branch, go and do what you're doing, then come back and up the stash and complete what you are working on. So let me just let me use this as an example. So I did some edits to this test too, right? There's some edits to this test too. And because of I'm not done with it yet, right? I want to stash this work, right? So what I'm going to do is new terminal, yeah. So I'm going to do a git stash, and right. Then what I'm going to do is so I'm putting this message so that it will be easy to identify, right, when I want to. So I've stashed it. I can always come back to it later, right? So what and I stashed it in this our two short distance. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new branch, right? To create a new branch, I'm going to call it bug fix, assuming what this thing, what thing they told me to do is what I'm working on right now, right? So I'm going to call it bug fix, and I'm going to come and let's say right, let me just say that that's what I did, and right. So this stuff that I have done right now, I am going to stage this so this is the only thing that has been changed. I'm going to stage this, right? Then I am going to call it then I'm going to commit this. Once I commit this, I can decide to publish this branch, right? I've published that branch. Now I'm going to go back to this place. So bug fix is here, right? And let's create this, right? And so I am going to, okay, I've reviewed this. This is fine. I'm good. I'm happy with what I'm seeing. So please don't tell me I cannot do this. Add your description here. So all right. And I'll say create pull request. Right. So this pull request has been created, right? And it has been fixed and blah blah blah. This, that. So this coding issue. You remember the coding issue that you created, right? So that is I'm going to link it to this. So what you would see is that once let's say I decide to confirm merge, right? This has been merged, right? I can decide to delete branch. A lot of people do that thing after something has been merged. You can delete the branch, right? But what I want us to see right now is, as this has been worked on and it was linked to this, right? When I go to my issues, I don't have that issue as open anymore. It automatically closes that issue because of it was attached to that. So this is what I just did was practically just showing a little bit of what collaboration on GitHub could look like, what it could be like, right? I'm pretty sure that when we are probably working with our probably our official workspaces, and we have collaborators and all that, and it's everything is well populated, you could see quite a difference there, right? I'm thinking, is there another trick I have up my sleeve? Okay, so there's one last thing that I will do, and I will I will stop at this point, and if anybody has any question, that is fine. So Kende, I'll disturb you again. Please, can you send me link to your GitHub?
Okay.
Yeah. Let me look for trouble. Let me see. Yeah. Let me look for trouble. Okay. Let me add this into you.
Okay. I'm trying it now.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you very, very much. Okay. So I have collected his stuff, right? Let's see. So let's say, for instance, right now, okay, let me pick this. Let's say, for instance, now I want to, let's say, collaborate or contribute to what he has here. Don't worry, I'm not going to edit anything or touch anything. The very first thing I'm supposed to do, right? This is now basically us when we advise people go and contribute to open source projects and all that. That's what I want to show us how we go about it, right? So let's say what I would do is to fork this. When I do that, so I'm copying just his main branch, and when I do that, I'm going to have a replica of this, like a copy of this, on my own profile once I finish this, right? So it should take a few seconds. Okay, fine and good. So this is telling us that this is where I got it from. It's not my own, that kind of thing. But let's say I now proceed, and just like the previous one, I would take this. Let me go and start something totally new. I want to shut this down. Did I really do this? Okay. Clone from GitHub. So this is what I want to work with. Right. Next time. I'll just put this here. Fine. Just okay. So I'm just put this here, right? New window. So let's say yes, I trust the autos, I trust everything, right? So let's say this is what I have right now, and I have his work, and I want to contribute to his work. Let's say I create a branch on my own end still, right? And so I create a branch on my own end. Okay. So I've created my own branch, right? Let me wind myself. Okay. Let me go to this place and let me just add some kind of right, and I'm going to save this, right? So the same way we've been doing the other things, right? We stage and we commit, right? Specify. Okay. Specify. Okay. So let's say I commit this, right? I decide to publish the branch and approve, right? Now, if I come back to this point, right? I'm seeing this, right? And I'm seeing this compare and pull request, right? But the person that's going to review this now is going to be him, the owner, right? He's the maintainer of the code base. So I'm going to do compare and pull, right? Okay, so I'm going to create pull request, right? So it is now kind of, if you don't mind, could you share your own screen? I think this will be the last thing that we will do tonight. You share your screen and now reject me.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, you've seen the coding issue that you raised earlier has been closed. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So it should be that so it should go to that's one. That should be the one that has an open pull request. You see the pull request one there. So you see that. Okay, great. So it's now you can now decide to add a comment, since we don't intend to merge this, right? So just you can add a comment for me and close the request. Tell him that you can tell me you're not accepting. Yeah. So close with comment. So on my own part, so thank you very much for that. Let me share my own screen. So so on my own part, right, when he did that, I got the comment rejected, and it's closed with unmerged commits, right? So what I can now do is to delete my branch. But the thing there is, we've seen how collaboration works with GitHub, right? I'm pretty sure after this we can go and contribute to open source projects that piques our interest online, right? And we have also been able to cover having what's on your local repository, like pushing it to a remote repository. And we've also covered cloning what you have in a remote repository to your local and working on it. We've also covered branching and all that. So I wish we could dive a little deeper into version control in itself, right? I think we've also seen stashing, right? Wait, let me do something. 1 minute. So if you remember that thing that we stashed that time, we stashed it on a different branch. When we stashed on what branch? Was it too short? It was too short, I mean. Yeah.
All right, Umar. Howard,
Yes.
thank you so much. Well done.
Yeah.
I want to ask, can we have like a follow-up class next week? Like a continuation, because you have quite a lot that you have seen or covered that you would like to.
I don't really know what my schedule is like for next week. That's the thing. But I will definitely keep you updated.
All right. Let me know as soon as possible so that I know if you have to have like a second class. So that I won't keep people too long on the call.
Sure.
They can also practice what you have learned as well. So are we done?
Yes, we are. We're practically done. I think we can call it a night here. I just wanted to show that the stash thing that we did earlier, right? Getting it out of the stash.
Okay,
yeah. So if we remember, we stashed here before, right? So what we are going to do this time is we are going to pop that stash. Popping that stash is practically how do I put it? It's practically opening up what we hid behind, and the stuff is just quite straightforward. Right? Changes not staged for commit and this and that. So we have, this is what we had before, right? And we have brought it back. So this is what was there that we were working on then. So you can just pop it, come back to it, complete what you are doing. Yeah, and we could now decide to stage it and commit. Yep, commit changes. Yeah. So we have okay. I think some changes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Push. Okay. So we have pushed that, and if we go to our repo, I believe everything is looking as it should. So yeah, I think we can call it a night at this point. If I open too short, it should be inside there. Yeah. So that's the last one I just did a minute ago. I can now decide to merge it afterwards. So thank you very much. Sorry I took too much your time. I'm really sorry. We spent an hour 30 minutes.
Yes,
Sorry
it's a practical session and people need to soak it in. Thank you so much, Uma, for that amazing session. Thank you, Kendi, as well, for also accepting the collaboration with Uma. Guys, this is where we're going to be wrapping up for tonight. Thank you so much for joining the call, and see you again next week. Let us have a lovely weekend. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.